What is going on, guys? So I'm going to be reviewing Arrow Season 7, and there's going to be spoilers in this review, so if you have not watched Season 7, or if you're not all caught up yet, I may spoil it for you in this review, but I apologize in advance if I seem a bit offbeat in this review, because I'm not going to break down all 22 episodes in the season, just certain moments that stood out to me. So I'm going to start right from the beginning, where Oliver is in prison after, like coming out and revealing his identity as the Green Arrow. And we see, where does that take the season? How does that change things up? And in the beginning, it was really interesting because he didn't get out right away. I mean, he spent almost a good amount of time in the first half in prison, and then that's where Diaz is still a threat. And I liked how that played out pretty good, and then it led up to where he's finally out of prison. We knew that was going to happen, and then when that happens, and then we see, okay, so where does he go from here? Will he still be able to be a vigilante or what? And he's on a special team, if like for the police of Star City, and at first I'm like, okay, this is different as I suspected. I mean, like I wanted to, like I have wondered, like before this season started, like where's that take things? Like, it was really, so I was glad to see how it changed things up, because everybody knows who he is, and there's no point in hiding his identity anymore. So secret identities is basically obsolete. But as through the course of the season, it just became a bit underwhelming to me. I don't know. I mean, like, it's certainly not the worst season of the show. I mean, like, but still, it's still, like, okay for what it was. And then another thing interesting is how we don't have really flashback scenes anymore. We have flash forward scenes now, where we're like going in the years later to where Oliver's son is an adult in this flash forward scenes, and then we find out in these flash forward scenes that Oliver and Felicity have a child together, and they have a daughter, and then that's how we find out. We don't find out in the present time. We find out in the flash forward scenes, and so I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then and one thing that really stood out the most in those flash forward scenes, no Oliver. That can make people think, okay, so does this have something to do with the deal he made with the Monitor during the crossover? Like, what's going on here? And then in the present day, while Oliver's in prison, there's another Green Arrow out there, and it turns out to be another half sister of his, where his father had an affair with another woman, and that's where they had, like his other half sister, Emiko. And so I'm like, okay, where is this going to be? Is she going to be a potential new member of Team Arrow, or what's going on here? Then after she's introduced, then they take Diaz out of the equation, as I suspected that they would do, where they introduce a new villain, because I think Diaz kind of overstayed his welcome a bit. And then that's where Dante comes in, and I guess he appears to be a bit threatening. Diaz seems to be a little bit afraid of him. And I'm like, okay, so this is the villain through the rest of season 7. And then, okay, I guess not. Emiko eventually kills him, and then it turns out, I guess she's gonna be the villain through the rest of season 7. I guess, like, where she has a strong vendetta against basically her father and everything that he stood for, everything that he held dear, like including Oliver, and she's part of. And you find out that she could have stopped him from dying, and from Oliver ended up on that island, but she just decided to sit that out. I'm like, okay, that's pretty deep. And then but yeah, I mean, this season wasn't the greatest, but it certainly wasn't the worst. I mean, like, I'm glad that we really, like I said, we got to see what would happen if our heroes' identities, like, of this show were revealed, like Oliver especially, and where they took it, not bad. I mean, it could have been better, and it could have been a lot worse, but and then also, like, into the finale, eventually we get to where Emiko dies in the season finale, and then we get to where the Monitor shows up, And then he tells him, it's time, it's time to leave now. And he tells Oliver that he saw him die in the middle of crisis. Like, okay, did you basically spoil the ending to the crossover, or you spoiled a little bit of the crossover? I mean, that could still be prevented. I don't know, because in the flash forward scene, the monitor visits Felicity, and then she leaves with him. So where does this all go? Like, where she gets to see Oliver to, like, God knows where. Like, what is going on? And that's a pretty interesting way to set us up for this year's crossover. But yet, how is this gonna play out in the final season of Arrow? How are these final 10 episodes next season gonna play out leading up to the crossover? I mean, is it gonna tell two separate stories? Like, what is going on here? And this is apparently Felicity's final season. I'm guessing as a regular. She may pop up as a guest star in a couple episodes, but as a regular, at least, she is done. But yeah, with all that being said, I'm gonna have to give Arrow season 7 3 chair spins out of 5. So here we go. 1, 2, 3 chair spins. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it could have been better, and it could have been a hell of a lot worse. I mean, it's just like right in the middle. It's just okay for what it was. But yeah, I mean, like, was this your favorite season? Feel free to tell me in the comment section. And if you guys enjoyed my review, make sure you thumb up this video, and make sure you click subscribe if you're new to the channel. Make sure you click that notification bell so you can be updated on my latest videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out, y'all.